Interviewing Marianne Barlow for the second time on our Coming Out series. I'm Diane Barrett, and it is the 24th of February 2023. So thank you for being here, and it's good to see you again. Yeah.
Yeah, you too.
So at what point then did you determine perhaps you're a lesbian?
Well, officially, it was around, let's see, 96. So I was like 22, 21.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Um, there have been clues, of course. Looking back, you can always see the clues before you figure it out. But I have this theory that because my mom is also a lesbian,
Mhm.
um, like even though I saw some clues that I can look back on and recognize, I did what a lot of kids do, which is rebel against what your parents do.
Uh-huh.
So I was determined like to not be a lesbian and you know. So
Was
I
there some event, some sensitizing event that said, "Oh, I'm not going to go there in my life"?
well, I think it was just, it was when my mom came out, it was 1980, and we had to be careful. She worked in a church preschool and didn't
Uh-huh.
know she'd lose her job if people found out. Um, Luckily, my dad was cool, so she didn't risk losing us
Mhm.
um, kids. But I think, the idea that it wasn't something that everybody liked, that it had to be not always a secret, but careful about who we told as kids.
Mhm.
Um,
Did she tell you that, or did she ask you to be careful? Or
yeah, I don't have a clear memory. I feel like, yeah, she said we were free to tell whoever we wanted, but we should just be sure that they were people we trusted because not everybody would like it
Mhm.
or understand it or be cool with it. Um, and then there was like the rampant homophobia on TV.
Mhm.
I just remember as a teenager.
Somebody's going to have a very clean ear.
I remember as a teenager, I was watching some of those talk shows
Mhm.
and just screaming at the TV because people were saying that gay people couldn't be parents
Really? See,
and
I don't remember any of that because, of course, I didn't want to hear any of that either.
right. And I didn't know better than to just not watch that because I was
Uh,
a kid, but I would just scream at the TV like because I knew there was nothing wrong with being a lesbian. I knew that my moms were wonderful people and had a wonderful relationship. And in fact, today's their 39th anniversary.
Today is
It is.
happy anniversary. Ah,
um, but yeah, I guess, you just take on the homophobia of society and be like, okay, well, that's for them. That's not
mhm.
for me. That's not me. And I did have crushes on boys. Okay, are you leaving? I had crushes on boys as a teenager and, figured that was that. Um, but
Did you also have crushes on girls at that time?
yes, but I
We'll
didn't
call it an
I didn't
attraction.
see them that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I found myself noticing girls,
Mhm.
just thinking, I just spun it in my head like I'm noticing their bodies because that's how I wish I looked or
Right.
you know, that kind of thing.
Uh,
Um but yeah, so in college I had a boyfriend that I lived with that I was kind of engaged to be engaged to. I
mhm.
saw a future with him. But I went I went away for the summer to work at Girl Scout camp and there were some wonderful lesbians running the place and I don't know, I just saw it as being a thing for my generation too, I guess, or like just got crushes on women there at camp that over like overtook any crushes I'd had on boys.
So were you in college then?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So that was perhaps your first really overt look at homosexuality from somebody other than your mother's.
Yeah.
Yeah. We look for that. Makes it okay. I remember in nurses training, which would have been the same age as you were, looked for women, and in retrospect, now I know they were lesbians, but I wanted someone to identify with.
Hmm.
It was like me, and then I found attractive. It wasn't only just a intellectual kind of thing; it was a physical attraction. They were there
Yep.
for them. They didn't come out, of course, but they were there, just like those women in your camp.
Hmm. Yeah. And so it's the first summer I thought, well, I'm just bisexual and that's fine, but I'm still in this relationship with my boyfriend and that's not going to change anything.
Uh-huh.
But then I went back a second summer and that changed everything.
You you weren't bisexual anymore.
No. Well, I sort of feel like probably there's a spectrum. I feel like it's not
Yes.
one or the other, but I definitely am more far to the lesbian side
Mhm.
than the bisexual middle. So,
Mhm.
yeah,
So that's good. Was it a relief or was it confusing?
it was a relief, I think. Yeah, kind of everything made more sense at that point.
Mhm.
And, you know, sometimes leaving a relationship can be an agonizing decision that takes a long time. And I was lucky that, I had so much clarity that I just knew what I had to do. So it happened quickly as soon as I realized.
Uh-huh. Because you were attracted to another person specifically, and
Yeah,
there's no doubt about it.
yeah,
That does it.
yeah,
Mhm. Sort of a relief that that can happen, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah, because
yeah.
no one's educating you in that direction, that this could, evolve. That would be one of your choices, so to speak. I wonder if that's going to change. I hope so. But
Well, what do you mean? Like that? I mean, I knew that that was a choice in life,
uh,
like not like not a choice,
it could happen.
was- but yeah, that this was something that could happen and could be for my life.
Mhm.
I feel like that's a lot more open. I mean, I live in the, liberal bubble of the Bay Area, and I feel like kids these days know all kinds of things are out there in the world and all kinds of ways of expressing your gender and identifying your gender and who people can be attracted to and how relationships can work, and like I feel like kids these days know a lot more about like they have awareness of different types of relationships and identities, and so that when if it ever comes to thinking about their own, then they have models to look at.
Mhm.
And what we had more than what I had, but then probably way more
Right.
than what you had.
Right. No, that just that recognition that here is a person that I am attracted to. And it's not maybe this guy or that guy, or maybe I should, or this is where I'm going. And that's a relief.
Yeah.
That was for me, actually. And if you think that when I was 5 or 6, I was attracted to the nun in my reading class. Did you see my interview? Anyway, and I mentioned that in my interview that I was a great reader because of her cleavage, that I sit on those little chairs. But I knew that not to talk about it.
Uh-huh.
How I knew that, I don't know. But I knew keep it under wraps. But I became a great reader. So
That's a funny story.
yeah. So the signs are there. I find it really interesting. And you're teaching? Are you teaching now still?
I'm teaching private music lessons.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Do you find that with your students, their acceptance of you, or are they curious about you?
every now and then, if I'm teaching at home, they'll hear the dogs barking and being let out when Nicole gets home, and
They know you didn't do it,
yeah,
right?
and I say, oh, yeah, that's my partner. She's home, and the dogs are with her now, and
Uh,
so I just, talk about it like it's
mhm.
normal. And for Bay Area kids, it's pretty normal.
Right, that's nice. So then after you had that initial aha moment, I guess, that you were centering yourself more, I think then. What was your next step? Did you
Well,
head into your relationship with your boyfriend, right?
yeah, that was the first step, and I sadly had to do it over the phone because we were both away working at summer camps.
Uh-huh.
We had an apartment that we were going to move into together
Oh,
when we got back to school, so I had to tell him over the phone so that he could find somewhere else to live because I was keeping
right.
the apartment.
Uh-huh.
um, and that was unfortunate, but also, I think it drew it out because I don't think he really believed it until he saw me in person, and
Mm,
I had to kind of say it again, like, yeah, this
yeah.
is real. I'm not. I'm attracted to women, and
Uh,
it's like nothing you did, but
right.
he was not happy, and we kind of said like we can be friends, but he was always really cold to me after that every
Mhm.
time I saw him. So
Yeah, that doesn't usually work.
yeah, I
Yeah.
was very lucky that it worked with my dad and my mom.
Right. No.
They were
Did you
good
talk to
friends.
your mom about it before you uh, talked to him about it?
No, I talked to
No.
him first, um, and I don't remember. I mean, I didn't tell my mom until she came up to visit me at college, and we went out to. I think I told her in a cafe, and she was just blown away. She had no idea.
You love that, huh?
Yeah, it was kind of like a joke. I've been waiting to.
Guess what, Mom?
Yeah,
Well,
because
there's that woman in Sacramento who wrote that thing, Mom, guess what?
I.
You've interviewed her, right? Look it up.
Okay.
Mom, guess what? Yeah.
Yeah, and I was lucky that I knew she would be accepting of me.
Yeah.
A lot of people coming out to their parents don't have that certainty. Um, so yeah, that was kind of fun.
Hmm.
But
And then when,
her jaw just hit the floor.
right. You won't forget that. She won't either, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Did you think that you were closer as a result of that to your mom or?
Um, maybe. Yeah.
Mhm.
I, I don't know. At least that was something else we had in common, but
Right.
probably. I don't know.
Mhm.
I when I was in high school, I was pushing her away and
Yeah.
pushing everybody away. But as soon as I moved to college and I was far away from everybody, I felt closer to everybody.
Mhm. Mhm. At high school, you have to do that, I think,
Yeah,
or you wouldn't go anywhere.
yeah.
Yeah. Be stuck.
Mhm.
Mhm. So you did all the normal things, right?
I guess normal things.
Right. Coming out. We look at it now as, I think that this is the evolution, is it's more normal that you're making choices for your own life, including your sexuality. I like that. So then after that, what was your next step? Did you stay with that, your attraction? Or,
No, we never got together actually. That was an
uh,
unrequited love,
uh,
but we were friends for years after that. Uh,
mhm,
yeah, I didn't have my first girlfriend for another year after,
mhm,
so it was, it's kind of I found a new roommate. I I went and joined the gay and lesbian club on campus to meet some friends.
that was good.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think this is important because as you look at this is an archive project and it's going to students on campus uh, as a guide. Because the fact that it's more comfortable now to talk about being a lesbian, for lack of a better word. It still isn't. It's still a change. And
Yeah.
it can be really lonely. So if somebody can sit down and look at this, because these are going to be specific coming out stories. Okay, and you're helping somebody else. I like that.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I went to the club and, super shy, but met
Mhm,
nice people. And
mhm.
I don't remember what we did in the club at all.
Did they ask you about yourself?
I don't really remember. I think I was so stunned and just kind of shy that I just didn't remember any of it.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
we probably, I don't know, watched films or read books. I don't remember what we did at all.
Mhm,
I still have a couple friends from that experience. Finally had my first relationship a year later. And,
mhm.
that was, I don't know, that was all new.
Right.
But, it felt right. Like this
Mhm,
is better than it was with boyfriends.
right.
Made more sense.
Mhm. It was you.
Yeah. But it didn't necessarily make it easier. So I kind of thought, you kind of hear straight people say, oh, I should just women together, they'll completely understand each other. That's not necessarily true at all. Yeah,
No.
we didn't understand each other one bit. So that didn't end well. Well, it ended. It ended,
Yeah.
but yeah, yeah, everything's a learning experience.
Yeah. I don't know what they mean by understand each other. You know what that
Yeah.
means.
Well, I guess there's,
Just like you have the same body parts, so you should know,
I don't know, such a societal thing about like men and women think differently, and so that's why husbands and wives don't understand each other. But if you two women, you think the same, obviously, but no.
it doesn't work that way. That's a false assumption.
Yeah, yeah,
So that ended.
yeah. That ended. It was mostly a long distance relationship over about a year.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. So various few relationships after that. Found the
Mhm.
one that stuck.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
What made it different?
Um, just being the right person.
Uh-huh.
And I think both of our, maturity and past experience with, I don't know, I guess not necessarily the wrong people. They were the right people at the right time. But
I think that's a good point because, for example, one of my first relationships decided she wanted to be with a man. Well, I can't do anything about that. So-
yeah.
And it was not a truth actually, but it was her truth at that moment. So that was the way out.
Ah,
So it's
yeah. Well, yeah, I just think whatever stage you're in at the point you're at, like it seems like the right person at that time. And
right. That's right.
if you know, don't have, if it doesn't have the staying power to see through, changes or difficult times, then you move on. But
Right. And
but
your needs are different too at a different time.
yeah,
Mhm.
and I sort of feel like getting older, you mellow out a bit, and you realize like certain things that you can compromise about that you would have thought, you know, weren't right before, but
Mhm.
like, well, this is worth it. I found a great person.
Uh,
We we
right.
high, but we can get there. We end up, we are older and know how to talk about things and figure things out. And
You can be excited about your life
yeah,
instead of frightened about what's next.
yeah, that's true.
Mhm.
And we've been together 14 years.
Wow, that's incredible. That's great.
Yeah,
Very good.
that gives you like, I don't know, I feel like over time you can get stronger by
Mhm.
seeing how much you've overcome and how much you've been through together, and trusting each other and knowing that you can make it through other things. And
How did your sister respond to your being a lesbian?
oh, I think she was also surprised, but
See?
obviously, fine.
Right.
She's like, okay.
My sister was like that. I told her I'm going to midnight mass, right?
Oh,
Something weird, right? So on the way, I said, I wanted to tell you something. So I told her. She took a moment and she said, well, I'm all right with that. And she said, so I'm really excited to know you and to see you change and grow and have a good life. And it's nice. For
thanks.
our audience, who I can mention, I've known Marianne since she was probably what, 6?
Yep.
A long time. And she has 2 wonderful mothers and a great sister. So it's been my honor.
Back at you.
Yeah, stay in touch.